This is the Barbecue Central Radio Show, which airs live every Tuesday evening from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Barbecue Central Show is being brought to you by Big Papa Smokers. Big Papa is the one-stop shop for anyone interested in barbecue, featuring a comprehensive selection of all American-made grills, spices, sauces, accessories, and everything that you need to make a world-class pit out of a 55-gallon drum. Visit them at BigPapaSmokers.com. And by the Barbecue Guru, makers of automatic pit temperature control devices and pits as well. You can visit them at thebbqguru.com. And by Cook Shack, a leader in pellet and electric style cookers. Visit them for specials online at cookshack.com or call them at 800-423-0698. And by Sucklebusters. Sucklebusters products are preferred by competition barbecue cooks. Texas-based, 100% made in the USA. Introduced first products to Barbecue Central over 7 years ago. You can get in contact with them at sucklebusters.com. Like them on their Facebook fan page, Sucklebusters, or visit thetexasbbqforum.com. Check them out and see why Sucklebusters means bustin' with flavor. And by Stephen DeFranco Jeweler, the official jeweler of the Barbecue Central Show. Visit them at StephenDeFranco.com or call 440-943-2700. And by Butcher Barbecue, makers of injections, sauces, and rubs. Find them online at ButcherBBQ.com. And by Green Mountain Grills, a leader in the pellet grill market. You can find out more about their cookers by visiting GreenMountainGrills.com. And by CookinPellets.com, a maker of high-quality pellets for all of your pellet-driven cookers. You can visit them at CookinPellets.com, or you can find them at Amazon.com as well.
This is Jim Minion from Two Loose Screws. I'm listening to Barbecue Central.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, good evening and welcome to the really big Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling, broadcasting live and direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. It is the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evening. If you want to jump in on the show tonight, more than happy to have you. A phone call it is, 216-220-0966. You can also email the show, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Everything else you want to find out about the show can be found, right there, right at the website, thebbqcentralshow.com. Here's what's happening, in case you didn't get the newsletter a little bit earlier today. It goes out at 1600 each and every Tuesday, if you didn't know. Head on over to thebbqcentralshow.com to sign up for the newsletter if you are currently not signed up for it. In about 13 minutes from now, a grand champ this past weekend at the Beltway Barbecue in D.C., Heath Hall Pork Barrel Barbecue. To recap, 9:35 in his monthly first Tuesday of each month, Ray Lampe, Dr. Barbecue, for Ask Dr. Barbecue. We might be picking Dr. Barbecue's brain about what England is like, since he has just returned from the Englands nary 24 hours ago. And then we'll move into the second hour at 10:14, a grand champ this week as well, Travis Clark of Clark Crew Barbecue, joining me. And at 10:35 p.m. Eastern, initially listed as an open segment, had a couple cancellations here or there, and then was able to fill with, who better to fill with than somebody who just dropped a 7-12 and loose change on his competing field, Donnie Bray, Warren County Pork Chop. So it's 3/4 competition tonight. 1 quarter Ask Dr. Barbecue for your barbecue health. And who knows what else can happen. If you want to jump in, I, again, am happy to have you. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Your email address, should you feel fit to write in versus call. Either way is fine. If you'd rather not do either and just lay out and listen to the show happen, unfold with the entertainment value that it brings to you, I'm more than happy to have you do that as well. Right now, blast off an email. Let everybody know that the show is live, streaming on my website, streaming videoally on OutdoorCookingChannel.com. Couple links to send them to. Well, first the post or the tweet or the group message or Google Hangout, or send an email to your complete contacts list. That would be great. Couple different links to send them to. The audio can be found at thebbqcentralshow.com. The audio can be found on iTunes Radio under the talk section. Just look, it's listed alphabetically, Barbecue Central Radio Network. You can get the audio stream there live. Tune in, TUNEIN.com. Search BBQ Central. You will get the live stream there as well. That's audio only. If you want the video too, the longtime syndication partner is the main place to go to, OutdoorCookingChannel.com/watch-now. That'll get you right there to the live video stream on your computer, or if you have Roku-style technology, IP television, go ahead and do it there as well. Go to your app store, depending on what platform you have in Roku. Go to the app store, search Outdoor Cooking Channel. It will show up. Download it into your app network, and then you can not only look at the live show through the live stream on OutdoorCookingChannel.com, but you have access to a host of archives through the other shows that Kevin has listed there as well. Don't forget, you can subscribe to the show through iTunes for the audible replays. That's the most popular way for people to get a hold of the show after it is aired live Tuesdays from 9 to 11. You can also go to the Barbecue for You YouTube page, BARBECUE, the numeral 4, the letter U. Outdoor Cooking Channel obviously has video replays. And the main clearinghouse for all audio and video replays, thebbqcentralshow.com. As I say each and every week, there is never any reason you should ever miss anything on this show, ever, 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 ever. Hear about it later, talk about it at this upcoming barbecue competition or event or block party, somebody talking about something you missed. Don't worry. You can absolutely go back, take it all in after the fact. Here's something that I wanted to play last week. I don't know if a lot of people are into doing this. You know me, I'm always worried that it's going to be too much work in the end. But let me pull this up here. Why you should spiral cut your wiener. Here you go.
Here's how you spiral cut a hot dog. Spear the dog directly through its center with a skewer, but if you mess up, don't worry. Hot dog meat is quite forgiving, so you can back the skewer out a bit and start again. Hold the knife at a slight angle and cut all the way down to the skewer as you roll the dog away from you. Cut all the way to the edge, pull the skewer out, and that's it. You're ready to grill. And now, why would you want to do this? Well, there are many benefits to a spiral cut dog. For one, they cook up straight as an arrow, allowing for an even char on all sides, and then they fit in a bun perfectly. The spiral cut also creates more surface area, so you get more crispy caramelized meat goodness. And the threads form little crevices, so small chunky condiments like relish and grilled onions don't slide around. And it also looks really cool, so it's a great conversation piece.
It's a great conversation piece. I'm trying to remember the last time I saw somebody, and I have seen it. Well, first of all, and I can only get the instant feedback from the folks in the instant chat room, but has anybody gone to lengths like this to make sure that your hot dog is as, I don't even know what you want to call it, aesthetically pleasing as possible? Is that more aesthetically pleasing than a regular wiener? Do you spiral cut your hot dogs, ladies and gentlemen? If you were a hot dog, would you spiral cut yourself, ladies and gentlemen? You know, to me, it's like, how much more time is this going to take? Hot dogs are simplistic. in their being. They're just wieners that you throw on, you turn a couple, 2, 3 times over, 8, 9, 10 minute cook or whatever it is, depending on how hot you have your grill. Maybe you get some char, maybe you don't. To have to insert a wooden skewer into the hot dog to do every single hot dog. I mean, let's say one hot dog takes a minute to do. Maybe you get better, 30 seconds. I mean, you could be looking at 10 to 12 minutes, maybe even longer if you don't get any better at doing the hot dog cutting thing. You could be looking at a pretty big time investment just to put spiral cuts in the hot dog. Patrick Paquette is saying spiral cut, then wrap in bacon. Yeah, I can see that, but doesn't that take a... maybe I can see that more and more that I'm thinking about. I've done the bacon-wrapped hot dogs, and I found it to be aesthetically great and tastefully average in the final review. It looks really good. It tastes really average. Maybe it's the bacon that makes it average. Maybe not. But I'm going to task you guys and everybody that's listening to the show after the fact, if you're going to do hot dogs this coming weekend or next week, take a picture if you spiral cut it, send it to me. Email greg@thebbqcentralshow.com or Twitter it out to me. Tweet it out. You can follow me on the Twitter @BBQCentralShow. Same thing on Instagram. Tag me on the Instagram. And the best-looking spiral cut weens over the next couple weeks, you get a free prize out of the Barbecue Central prize vault. Just from me to you. How nice is that of me? Super nice. So there's your task, 216-220-0966, greg@thebbqcentralshow.com is the email address. And again, follow me on the Twitter, @BBQCentralShow. Same thing on the Instagram. Send me your spiral cut hot dogs. I will judge. And if you are really great, I'll give you a prize. I want to see people get it. Let me know how long it takes you to do like a pack. How many come in a pack anymore? 8, 10, 12, depending on where you go, maybe? All right, we're back with Heath Hall out of the break. Want to celebrate National Barbecue Month? Need a gift idea for Dad for Father's Day? How about a Cook Shack smoker or pellet grill? Make Dad a barbecue genius with this easy-to-use smoker and pellet grill. Now until June 12th. It's 10 days from now. You can save 10% off the list price of any Cook Shack residential electric smoker. Fast Eddie's Cook Shack, FEC 100, or pellet grills. This is a savings of up to $419 depending on the unit that you get. The Smokeette Elite, the Super Smoke Elite, the AmeriQ are the electric smokers that make it real easy to add real wood to your smoked foods. They're inexpensive to operate, energy efficient. Then you have the pellet-fired cookers. The PG 1000 and 500 feature 4-zone cooking and pellet broil technology. The FEC 100, by the way, is the choice of many championship barbecue teams, guaranteed to hold enough barbecue for all your friends and family. All of their products come with a no-risk 30-day, use it as much as you want, money-back guarantee. Nobody else is going to do that. To order online, just use the promo code BBQMonth, one word, BBQMonth, when you check out at cookshack.com. Or if you call them at 800-423-0698, that's 800-423-0698, tell their friendly sales staff you want the BBQ Month deal. BBQ Month deal. With a Cook Shack smoker or pellet grill, you can celebrate barbecue every day. Again, hurry because this deal ends 10 days from now, which is Friday, June 12th. The code online at cookshack.com, BBQ Month, one word. If you call 800-423-0698, tell me you want the BBQ Month deal. And remember, you could save up to $419 depending on the unit that you get. It's a great deal. Take advantage of it right now. Let me know if you order one. You're supporting the support this show. I appreciate that. Cook Shack would appreciate that. All right, pitmaster of Pork Barrel Barbecue, new father, restaurateur, the guy that owns the Beltway Barbecue competition, Heath Hall. Right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Hey, welcome back. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Your ways to get in touch with me. This portion of the Barbecue Central Show is brought to you by Sam's Club National Barbecue Tour, 31 cities, $500,000 in cash to be won. The next stop on the tour is this Saturday, June 6, 2015, in Asheville, North Carolina. It's a local qualifier that feeds the top 6 teams into the Richmond, Virginia regional final. That'll take place on September 5th. To find out more about Sam's Club Barbecue Series, check the results, or to register your team to compete, you can visit kcbs.us/Sam's Tour. That's kcbs.us/Sam's Tour. All right, let's go ahead and race to the hotline and welcome in a fellow that just won the Grand Championship out at the Beltway Barbecue Showdown in Fort Washington, Maryland this past weekend. You know him as the pitmaster of Pork Barrel Barbecue. Heath Hall joins me here on the show. Heath, how are you, buddy?
Good, buddy. How are you doing, Greg?
Absolutely fabulous, Heath. Appreciate you making time for the show, and I know it's been a while since we've been on, so shout out to the newest father, pitmaster as well. Look at you, having babies and making business deals and winning competitions. It's like everything's going right for you guys, right?
We're having a good year. Yeah, I know it's great being a father. Just about a little over 5 weeks ago, my son Hudson was born, and we've had a great year with Pork Barrel and got a new product, our bacon jerky out. Got into all Sam's Club with our spice rub, and now we're starting to cook a little bit on the circuit.
Is this the first little pitmaster that you and your wife have spawned?
This is our first little pitmaster.
All right, so what do you think about being a parent? I'm 3 times over. The oldest one's 14, going to be a freshman in high school next year. I got one going into 7th and one going into 4th. So it's old hat for me, so I love to talk, parent shop with the people that are now being struck with, holy shit, I'm a parent.
It's funny. I am now appreciating all my training at the Jambo Pit. The Jambo Pit is a lot like the baby. About 2 o'clock in the morning, it wants to wake up, and once you feed it, then about every hour or so, it wants to be fed again. So it's kind of similar, but no, it's great. He's doing really good. Not getting as much sleep as we're used to, but again, that's another good benefit of being a pit master. We're not used to a lot of sleep anyway.
That's right. We'll get into some of the new stuff and products here, but I wanted to go ahead and quickly review this past weekend's Beltway Barbecue Showdown. So, in years past, is this the same one that you'd normally find in Washington, or is that one still yet to be played?
That one's still yet to come. That one is the last weekend in June.
All right. And are you going to be cooking that one as well?
We will, yeah. We're the defending champs there, so we'll try to defend our championship. But a lot of great teams. Tuffy will be cooking. I think that'll be Tuffy's first KCBS contest of the year. Myron comes in. I think Diva Q's cooking it this year. Hot Wachulas is cooking it. Serial Griller, Three Eyes. It's a Dizzy Pig. It's a really strong field.
Yeah, a lot of great local and regional teams, but then there'll be some that pull up just because it's a very large competition. So as you look back this past week and kind of gearing up for that one, I guess, what did you like as a high-level experience this past weekend, and what would you like to get up and tweak here before you do it again?
Yeah, well, first a shout out to Jonathan Jones, who's the organizer of the contest. He does a heck of a job. This is the 9th year for the contest, and every year it gets better. I was really pretty happy. This is only my second cook of the year. I cooked the Annapolis, Maryland contest at the beginning of May. So I haven't had a lot of cooks yet, but I was really happy with everything. Ribs have been killing me, and shout out to Rod Gray, who I picked his brain a few times over the last couple of weeks trying to get my ribs right. And I was pleased with the improvement. I still have some ways to go on the ribs, but finished 13th in ribs. But I'll tell you, the pork butt was probably my best this week, and it finished 3rd. Had a really nice flavor in it. Had a huge money muscle that was really juicy. Brisket, great flavor, but slightly overcooked. I struggled to get my slices. The burn-ins were off the hook, but the slice were a challenge to get. So I finished 9th in brisket. I think if I had maybe taken it off the smoker 15 minutes sooner, probably could have gotten higher. And then chicken, we've been on a really good chicken roll actually since DC last year. We changed our recipe about 11 months ago now, and we've had a lot of success with that. And so far this year, we have a 1st and a 5th in chicken.
Heath Hall joining me here on the show, breaking down the Beltway Barbecue Showdown win they had this past weekend in Fort Washington, Maryland. Heath, as far as the meats go, are you Wagyu, and are you this Compart Duroc thing that everybody's using now, and are you, specially sourced chicken and all this? I mean, where you guys sit at with all this meat stuff anymore?
The only specialty meat I really use, I cook one Snake River Farms Wagyu, and then I cook one choice or prime brisket, depending on what I have. Sometimes I get it from Restaurant Depot. Sometimes I grab one from the restaurant. It just really depends. But I do cook one Wagyu, and I would say 85-90% of the time, that's the one I end up going with. Chicken, I've played around with a lot of things, and I've found that I have just as much success with something I get at the grocery store, like a Purdue chicken, as I do with anything special. I've done the air chilled and all that, but like I say, 1st and a 5th this year, and both times they were Purdue chicken thighs that came right out of the counter at the grocery store. Ribs, I have played around with the Compart ribs and and the Duroc ribs, and they're in my opinion kind of hit and miss. Sometimes they're really good, and sometimes they're just not a lot of meat on them. Again, ribs are my biggest challenge, and so I've played around with a lot. But I've just started using IBP ribs or Smithfield ribs that I'm getting locally. They tend to be a little thicker. And pork butts, just getting those off the shelf at Restaurant Depot or Sam's Club or wherever it happened to be. So only thing really special that I've used so far this year is the Snake River Farms briskets.
In the seasoning portion of this, Heath, is it all pork barrel barbecue stuff, or do you wiggle around with some other stuff? What's your profile of choice these days?
It's 3 different things. It's some of our over-the-counter stuff. It's some of the stuff that I just make here at home, specially for the contest, that we don't sell. And then I use a few friends' products that I've liked over the years. Some of Rod Gray's stuff I like. So yeah, it's a combination of all 3. And then sauces. I use our mustard sauce right out of the bottle on my pork butts and on my ribs. All the other sauces I make, from scratch at home, kind of variations of some of our sauces with a little extra honey, some apple juice, pineapple juice sometimes, things like that.
Is the mustard sauce being used as the adherent for the rub?
It is. Yeah, I don't have the guts to put mustard sauce on at the end there. Yeah, that would be maybe someday if I don't want to necessarily have a chance to win a contest, and I'm just going to see what happens. I might turn in ribs with mustard sauce, pork with our vinegar sauce, and for chicken maybe I'll turn in chicken gizzards or something.
I mean, is it right there? You're just shooting yourself in the foot, and you had an extra, $1,100-$1,200 to spend,
Yeah.
and you're just going to do it. I mean, it's kind of, in a way, it shouldn't be like that, though, right?
Yeah, it's funny. There was a brand new team at the Beltway Barbecue Contest this weekend that I had met last year at a contest, and they decided that they wanted to start cooking this year. And I'm pretty open with a lot of the stuff I do, and I said, come over, and I showed him how to build a box. I talked to him about stuff, and the guy goes, I really love your mustard sauce, and we're going to use that on our ribs. And I said, when are you going to use that on your ribs? You're going to use that at the beginning to adhere the spice, or you're going to use that to finish it? And he said, oh no, we're going to glaze it and finish it in the mustard sauce. I was like, I appreciate your support. But I'm just going to tell you right now that unless your goal is to probably finish towards the end of the rankings and ribs, don't do it. But I think it would be very interesting to see how you would fare if you put together, if you took a really good rib cook, like a Rod Gray, say, so the quality of his rib is going to be excellent, and if he put mustard sauce on there to finish it, it'd be interesting to see how that would change.
I mean, you are heavily experienced in the political side of politics, and certainly we can skew into the politics of KCBS, and I could sit here and make an argument that you would probably agree with and say, hey, there's absolutely no reason that we should, on the high level, feel at all uncomfortable putting a honey glaze or a mustard glaze or anything like that because the ribs are cooked perfect and the profile is great, and we're going to turn it in, and we have just as good a shot of winning as anybody. And the bottom line is that's not true at all. We would be towards the bottom third at best.
Yeah, no.
If not potentially disqualified because there might be a yellow tinge and people would freak out.
No, it's very true. I had somebody tell me once, because I really am not a fan of the way competition barbecue that wins tastes. I'm more of a spicy kind of profile guy. If I had you over to my house and I cooked something for you, it would not be anything, with maybe the exception of brisket, which is similar to how I would cook with chicken, pork, and ribs, would be nothing like I would cook here. But I had someone tell me once, are you out here to cook what you like, or are you out here to win? Because if you're out here to cook what you like, it's a lot cheaper to do it from home. Yeah. You can go lay down in a comfortable bed. If it's cold outside and rainy, you're not going to get wet and cold. Or you might just say, it's cold outside and rainy, so I don't feel like cooking today. And in the end, it's you're out there to compete and win. And we all know what wins. And it is a very, I think, narrow window of flavor profile that wins.
Heath Hall joining me here on the show. Pitmaster Pork Barrel Barbecue won the Beltway Barbecue Showdown this past weekend in Fort Washington, Maryland. Heath, we have some new products that have hit the market for you, one of which was kind of one of those viral things that you kicked out, much like the, I believe, still selling like hotcakes Q cologne.
I can smell you're wearing it through the computer.
Yeah, I bet you can, believe it.
It's smelling good, man.
The monitors are melting. Bacon jerky.
Yeah.
I mean, if bacon isn't... I think John Dawson and myself have gone back and forth about the overhype of bacon and when has bacon gone too far, and let's just go ahead and test those rubber band boundaries and throw bacon jerky out. And to be fair, I've actually seen bacon jerky start to make its appearances through, I think, like Oberto or, one of the bigger brand places. So it's not like it completely took me aback. Somebody that I know that has been on the show before going into the foray of jerky. So not beef, but bacon. So why bacon?
Yeah, we wanted to do, there's hundreds of beef jerkies out there. But bacon jerky is a newer thing. And our bacon jerky, we think, is a little bit different. When you open a bag of our bacon jerky, it actually looks like a piece of bacon because it is a piece of bacon, like you might pull out of your refrigerator to make with eggs and bacon in the morning. Some of the bigger brands out there, it's all chunks and not consistent sizes and things like that. We decided that, we've been working on this for over a year before we launched it to really try to get it right. We launched it with 3 flavors. spicy sriracha, old-fashioned maple, and a honey pepper. We've got 2 more flavors right now we're working on, which are based off of our original barbecue sauce and our sweet barbecue sauce. And if this continues to go how it's been going, I can see us expanding into some of the other areas, perhaps a brisket jerky, pork jerky, things like that. And it really is a cool opportunity for us to open up a lot of doors that sauce and rub don't open. You've got gas stations, drugstores like CVS or Walgreens. You've got actually our first retail client was Bed Bath & Beyond. They did an 8-store test. It's been very successful. They're expanding us into 40 stores and have plans to expand us hopefully eventually into all of their stores. That's some place that sauce and rub may not go. It's also a nice product because it's almost instantly consumed, whereas a sauce bottle may sit in someone's refrigerator for 6 months. You open the bag, 5, 10, 15 minutes later, it's probably empty. And if you like it, you're probably going to go back and buy maybe over the course of the year 10 or 15 bags of it versus maybe a bottle or 2 of sauce or rub. So we're really excited. We're trying to build a brand, and when you build a brand, it's a lot different than just building a product. And we want to offer multiple product offerings under our brand. Right now, the newest thing I'm working on is a couple of breaders, so like a fish breader, fried chicken breader. Those are probably some of the next products. Actually, the next 2 products are coming out with 2 new rubs, a steak rub and a citrus poultry rub, which will be out later this summer.
So what's the process of bacon jerky? Take me through, from beginning to when it goes into the bag for purchase.
Yeah, so we have just bacon, high quality bacon. So like if you went to the grocery store and bought a pound of bacon, we're taking something similar to that. We have a special oven that's being used that we think is one of the differences in the product. It's an oven that is similar to what they use over in Italy to bake the clay tiles that you'll see on a lot of roofs, like the terracotta. So it's kind of a slow process, low and slow, to try to keep the integrity of the jerky. Some jerkies are really tough when you get to really pull, and it feels like you're going to rip one of your teeth out. This isn't that kind of jerky. It still has a lot of the bacon integrity to it. Like I said, we've got several flavors that we impart, the flavorings into during the cooking process. And then it goes into a bag. It's vacuum sealed and shut. It's got a 1-year shelf life. Gets put in a box, and hopefully it goes and finds a retail store to set in and gets sold, and we do it all again.
When I open it, do I have a definitive amount of time to eat it before it would technically go bad, or as long as I close the bag up, it's going to be okay until I come back the next time?
Once you get air into it, it's going. It's just like a rub. If you open up a rub and you don't seal it well, or moisture gets in there, it starts to impact the rub. So once air hits that, it's going to start becoming less. It's going to become more like a chewy beef jerky. But yeah, no, if you open a bag up and you seal it well and you keep it, like in your cabinet or something, it's going to be good for several months. But unopened from production date to expiration date is 1 year.
Heath Hall joining me here on the show, talking a little pork barrel products, the new products, bacon jerky available. So when you start out at 8 stores, Bed Bath & Beyond, now you're going to go into 40. Do they share with you what benchmarks they're looking for in order to get you into more stores so you can kind of watch it together?
They do. There's a number of things out there they look at. One thing is a thing called IRI. It's kind of like the Nielsen's ratings for TV. And IRI data kind of tells you where you are in sales. They also obviously have their internal sales, and they have several other jerky products that they sell. And so they look at our sales over those sales in a certain period. So if there's, say, 5 brands of jerky, and say there are 20 flavors within those 5 brands, they'll rank them and see how those go. It also depends on price point and margins. You know, if you come in, like for example, our barbecue sauce, when it goes into a grocery store, you know, we're several dollars more expensive than, say, a Casey Masterpiece or a Sweet Baby Ray's. But their profit margin is much higher when they sell one bottle of our sauce versus when they sell one bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's or Casey Masterpiece. So it may be, you know, we want to sell one of your bottles for every 4 bottles of Casey Masterpiece, and that would be kind of financially breaking even for them, you know, the same margin. So it kind of depends on your price point. But no, we've had very good success in the 8 stores that we're in with the bacon jerky. At this point, we're the #1 selling jerky that they have in those 8 stores. And that's why they've expanded us to the 40 stores coming up soon. If you happen to be in the Reston, Virginia area this Saturday, Brett and I will be there doing a demo with the bacon jerky. So come out and you can taste it. That's the Reston, Virginia Bed Bath & Beyond.
All right.
It's noon to 4 o'clock on Saturday.
Everybody that's in Reston will be looking to do some bacon jerky partying with.
Or if you're in Cleveland, get in the car and come see us.
That's right. That could possibly happen. You never know. It's only a short 7-hour drive down, or maybe 8. I forget how long it is. Heath Hall is the pitmaster of Pork Barrel Barbecue, the competition team, and then half of the Pork Barrel Barbecue brand. Heath, always appreciate the time, man. Thanks for coming on.
You bet, man. Thanks for having me. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, there he is, Heath Hall, ladies and gentlemen. Pork Barrel Barbecue. And the grand champ this past weekend at the Beltway Barbecue Showdown in Fort Washington, Maryland. And doing quite well on the business side of things to boot. You would recall that they were on Shark Tank initially with the rub and the sauce, and they got Barbara Corcoran to buy in, and it's been kismet ever since. Bed Bath & Bacon, that's right, Patio Daddy, bringing the high comedy tonight, everybody. All right, folks, let me talk to you quickly about Suckle Busters, award-winning barbecue rubs, sauces, chili kits, and Texas gunpowder, preferred by competition barbecue cooks, Texas-based, 100% made in the USA. Products have won hundreds of industry awards, including 2 first places 2 years in a row at the American Royal Barbecue Sauce Contest. New products from Suckle Busters include this one, Honey Barbecue Glaze and Finishing Sauce. That's right, I've been talking about it for weeks. Based on the Suckle Busters award-winning Honey Barbecue Sauce, this is a thin barbecue glaze and finishing sauce made especially for competition ribs and chicken. It's super sweet, not spicy, super red. They use a special American paprika for that bright red color, by the way. Go ahead and do this. Brush it on the last 5 to 10 minutes of cooking, and it will leave a glossy red sheen on the meat and add an extra layer of sweet flavor. Take your competition ribs and chicken to a whole nother level. Available at local barbecue stores, or you can get it online if you can't wait. Sucklebusters.com. That's sucklebusters.com. You could call 972-393-9509, or you can email sales at sucklebusters.com to get your hands on some. If you don't want to do any of that and you feel lucky right now, you can win a free bottle of the Suckle Busters award-winning Suckle Busters Honey Barbecue Glaze and Finishing Sauce. Email me right now, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com, and in the subject line, put DC Barbecue. DC, Delta Charlie, DC Barbecue. You can win a free bottle of the Suckle Busters Honey Barbecue Glaze and Finishing Sauce. Again, sucklebusters.com. That's sucklebusters.com. Ask Dr. Barbecue. Ray Lampe coming up out of the break. Stick around. We'll be right back.
in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. 216-220-0966. Greg at the BBQCentralShow.com. This portion of the Barbecue Central Show being brought to you by Green Mountain Grills, manufacturers some of the best pellet cookers out there on the market today. If you're looking for a big cooker to house a lot of food, they got one for you. How about a medium-sized one? They got you covered there, too. Something to take on those tailgates or camping trips? No problem. You are covered on that end as well. They can also supply you with premium pellets to fire those cookers. Check them out at greenmountaingrills.com. I love mine. You could love your Green Mountain Grill, too. greenmountaingrills.com, the website. So be sure to check that out. Now let's do a little bit of this.
If you got questions about barbecue or grilling, maybe as a hobby or even a business, looking to get an expert's point of view, why not ask Dr. Barbecue? You can submit your questions by clicking on the Ask Dr. Barbecue tab on the website. The doctor is in. Here's Ray Lampe with his nurse, Greg Rempe. Dr. Barbecue.
That can only mean Ray Lampe joining us here on the show. Ray, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, Greg. How about you? It's a long time no hear.
No doubt. Doing absolutely fabulous. Appreciate you making time for the show tonight. And, as I understand, we're probably not even 24 hours outside of you being back in the great country of the United States of America.
Well, it's a little over 24, but not much. Yeah, we just got in last night. I'm still trying to adjust to the little bit of jet lag.
Yeah, now you're coming back into the time zone instead of jumping. Oh, wait, is that right? Yeah, you went forward. Was it 5 hours or 6 hours or whatever it is over there?
Yeah, it's 5. I quit trying to figure it out.
Goodness.
Just kind of go with whatever you're in there, and it's hard. If you start thinking about it, it gets you.
Yeah, absolutely. Ray Lampe joining us here on the show for the monthly Ask Dr. Barbecue segment. For those that have no idea what we're talking about, Ray, tell us what you've been up to and why you were out of the country.
I was just in England, in Manchester, for Grill Stock. They now have Grill Stock Festival.
Wow.
One in
3.
The original in Bristol, and this one in Manchester, and there'll be a new one this year in London.
So when do they all take place?
They bounced around a lot over the years. It's been an ongoing project trying to make it all fit. So we just finished Manchester. Bristol, I think, is 4th of July weekend, or maybe the weekend right after, or something around 4th of July, and then the other one's in the fall. I think Labor Day weekend. That's a new one in London. It's going to be big, and I believe that is going to be a KCBS contest. They have not confirmed it yet, but I don't see anything in the way, and I think it's going to be KCBS this time.
So that will be like a KCBS contest tucked into a festival, like a lot of the traditional KCBS contests here, or is this going to be just a standalone Grill Stock KCBS event?
Yeah, no, it'll be a big festival as well, and there will be additional categories that'll be judged in the traditional Grill Stock fashion, which means on live we have the judges sitting there in a row, and the entries come up one every 3 minutes. They come around the back, so it's pretty much blind judging. We have when you have 6 judges that you've handpicked, you don't have to really worry about them too much. They don't care whose entry it is. So we'll do the extra categories in that fashion. That's how we did all the judging over the weekend, and the top teams continue to win every time we do it. But we wanted, for a big contest, it's hard to do it. What the concept is, every judge or every piece of meat is judged by the same 6 or 7 judges. At 25, you can do it. 2 categories a day spread out, you can do it. Anything more than that, it's pretty impossible. Nobody can eat that much. So we had no choice but if we're going to have a bigger one, let it be KCBS. But KCBS is rocking in Europe, so why not be part of that as well?
Do you attribute KCBS and the popularity to the fact that people just have some type of a now evolving passion for barbecue, or has KCBS gone over and above and kind of infiltrated and generated their own interest and excitement for barbecue?
I think they're the beneficiary of it for sure. The interest in barbecue is just rabid, and of course the internet makes it. These guys from all over the world can listen to this. They can come on all the forums. They can interact. You'd be amazed at Grill Stock this time. Last year it happened at the one I was at, and this year I'll be at all three. But every single entry in the 4 categories that counted looked exactly like a KCBS entry. All had parsley beds. Every entry we saw was parsley bed. Every chicken entry was thighs. Most of the brisket had burnt ends in it. We tasted some blues hog type stuff. So the people are really, they're accustomed to it. They know about it, but KCBS has become the world standard. I mean, nothing else has stepped up over the years, and KCBS, for whatever reason, what they wrote down on that napkin in that bar all those years ago continues to work. It's amazing how little it's changed over the years, and it continues to work, and that's why it's working out over there. They want a good standard, just like we did. It's interesting to watch. England's the only place I go. I haven't gone to Holland or Germany or any of those other places yet, but it mirrors so much what we were doing 25 years ago. We just wanted a standard that we could, depend on, and KCBS has filled that.
And judges are being trained the same way over there as they are here in the States?
I believe so. I'm really not that involved with it. I just know what I see and hear, and talking to the teams and seeing the food. How most of it is going on over on the other on the continent, not in England. And so I really am not that familiar with it. I believe the same few people are doing the judge training. I think that's the theory, to make it exactly the same as over here.
So you're a pretty progressive guy, if I can say so, Ray, without sounding like I'm sucking your ass here, and I'm not. Do you find it at all? I mean, it's great that they're trying to emulate the turn-ins and the flavor profiles that you mentioned, but wouldn't you like to see some kind of divergence or originality in that kind of a thing, to really have it like the old days where guys are trying to, one-up each other with, I'm going to bring this spice this time or this sauce this time, instead of all trying to fit into a very narrow profile, as Heath Hall said just last segment, in hopes of winning?
Yeah, I talked about that a lot this weekend. The way we judge, the judges sit on a little stage lined up, the 6 or 7 judges, and I actually have a bar right next to them with a couple bar stools and liquor.
Yeah.
And I talk to the crowd while they're judging, because it is new to them. They don't know what's going on, and they are curious. So I talk to them, and I talk to them a lot. And I explained to them that the entries when we started 6 years ago at Grill Stock were horrendous. We saw anything you could imagine. And to this day, our rules allow anything in the box. The 3 extra categories, wings and burger and chef's choice, they can do anything. They bring up, it's kind of like the typical American, they can bring up boards with food on it and stuff. But the 4 categories, they have to put it in a typical styro box, but we allow any garnish that's edible or attached to the meat for the people that want to pick about the bone. And in the beginning, we saw everything. We saw fruit, we saw cabbage, we saw anything you could think of in there. And now we see nothing except parsley. And yeah, it does disappoint me that it moved so fast. It took us 25 years to get to that crap, basically. But over there in 5 years, it has come right to it. I think, and frankly, it's nothing like anyone would eat in a restaurant in England. I mean, the food is so sweet, and they just don't eat food like that. And it's disappointing to me to see that. I think and I hope that it will evolve then past that. They're at the baseline now. I think it'll evolve past that. But you know what? Who knows? Everybody's scared to do anything. Like Heath was talking about the mustard sauce. It sounds like a good idea, but nobody's got the balls to try it. Interesting thing. So we saw the chicken at Grill Stock a couple days ago. I mean, it was very much like American chicken. A couple of them had light sauce or no sauce, but they were sculpted thighs, just like you'd expect to see. Some with 6, some with 8, some with 9. Exactly what you'd expect to see. And the judges were complaining about it because we talked to the judges as they're judging, and the cooks can listen. And then the burger round came. Well, we saw everything from a falafel vegetarian burger in a pita, to a chicken burger, to a pork burger with pineapple on it, and a bunch of beef burgers. And, when we started talking to the judges at the end, they all said, well, gee, that stuff's all fun and all, but we'd really rather like a plain cheeseburger, with a little tomato on it and some bacon maybe and a nice bun, and that's all we need. And I told them, I said, well, be careful what you wish for, because we all complained about the chicken, how it was so boring. Next year, we're going to get 12 exactly the same plain burgers. I guess it's the nature of the competition. It does disappoint me because their tastes are different, their food is different, and they're scared to do anything except what they read about on the internet.
Well, I guess we'll see how that evolves. And, one thing that I guess nobody can argue is, the popularity and the continued growth overseas, but obviously the continued growth here in popularity. So we'll see how that shakes out here over the next months and years of competition barbecue. Ray, one of the other things I wanted to ask you about, and I can't believe I forgot to mention as I was going through the introduction here, Hall of Famer Ray Lampe. One of the, announcements, and it was done by himself, Steven Raichlen, that he's going to be going in as a Hall of Fame inductee 2015 this year at the American Royal, under, which I could not believe, the celebrity/humanitarian category, which I was supposed to go under this year. Nevertheless,
I heard the vote was close.
If I have to get beaten out by one guy, I guess it's Steven Raichlen. But in all seriousness,
you're okay with that one, Greg?
This time, yes. Next year, I can't think of anybody that should be beating me. So Steven Raichlen was the only one hanging out there that I was going to be okay with. You look at his career in barbecue and the legacy that he's leaving and what he's still currently doing. Even as, and I always say, let's do away with those categories and let's just usher in, 3, 4, 5 people a year just as they are, because people know who they are and they should be in there. I'll still say you should be a pit master, and I still say that Adam Perry Lang should go in as a pit master, and Steven Raichlen should go as a pit master. But he's seen a lot of business. You could make an argument that he could probably go in, maybe even as all three, because he's so successful in a lot of different areas. Nevertheless,
I think that's a lot of guys are fitting into more than one category. I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're making my point for me, so I thank you for that. But as you kind of look at what he has been able to accomplish over his career, is there anybody more deserving than Steven Raichlen to finally get this honor?
Well, it's hard to say is there anybody, because we're so late in doing this that there's a lot of people that belong in the Barbecue Hall of Fame. But I don't know how anybody even. Steven, first time I met Steven, I thanked him for opening all the doors that I get to walk through. And, a lot of people thank me in that fashion. Steven was there before I was. And I remember when I got my first book deal, they wanted me to write 3 books because Steven's books were just starting to kick ass. And they thought, we got to jump on this bandwagon. We need somebody to do that for us. And I'm not the prolific writer that Steven is. He writes, his books are just over the top compared to what anybody else writes. And I've obviously made a career out of it, but I've never scratched what he's done in the cookbook business. He certainly deserves it.
Ray Lampe joining us here on the show for the Ask Dr. Barbecue segment. AskDRBBQ.com if you want to write in and have a question answered by Dr. Barbecue Ray Lampe. I do have one question, by the way, Ray, that came in that I want to ask you about since we missed it last time. This one, since it's getting, in Cleveland, it's not getting any warmer out. It was 45 freaking degrees here last night, if you can believe it. People were covering their shrubs June 1st. I couldn't believe it because they're afraid of the frost that's coming. But inevitably, at some point, it will get warmer here, and people are going to be outdoors cooking more and more. So people want to do burgers. And so the question is, ask Ray if you can have him give us what he thinks is the best burger recipes. And, of course, starting out with that base, meat and fat, and should you grind your own and shouldn't you grind your own, all that good stuff.
I'll tell you exactly what I do. Now, when I we got Publix is the main grocery store here. They have chuck, round, sirloin, and they have something they call market ground beef. What that is the trimmings that they're grinding in the store, because they don't cut up animals, but they still cut up those primal pieces, and there's a lot of scrap. And they do grind that up, and it's actually store ground meat. It's a combination of probably all pretty good stuff. And I buy that all the time, and I'm totally happy with it. So if your store, ask the guy, because that chuck that round and that sirloin at Publix is all coming out of a big tube, got ground somewhere far away. They'll regrind it to make it look like it just got ground, but that stuff is not getting ground at the store the first time. So don't buy that stuff. Now, if you can find meat that's being ground at the store, yeah, I'm comfortable with that. I rarely grind meat. I ground some pork today to make Italian sausage. I'm fully set up to ground beef if I feel like it, but I don't see the reason to. I can get that good ground market beef. And I have a scale in my kitchen. The patties will all weigh exactly the same. And I patty them out by hand and push it down in the middle. And I got a big green egg, and it's hot as hell, and I grill them. And for me, it's usually Swiss cheese on there and some bacon. Toast the bun. Don't cheap out on that. Make sure you toast the bun. I don't like a lot of toppings on mine, but like I was saying, make it kind of simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't make a damn meatball burger. Don't smash it down and take your thumb and push a big hole down in the middle.
Don't let Ted Reeder hear you say that. Oh, my God. He does those flip-top head burgers that look like, they look like softballs on steroids or so, but he's stuffing them full of, like, hockey puck stuff in them. I mean, that guy's a crazy man in a good way, isn't he?
I've cooked a lot of different things with Teddy. He's nuts.
Yeah, absolutely.
You will never meet anybody more creative than Ted Reeder in the kitchen. He is a fun dude.
When it comes to finishing temperatures of the burger, do you look to hit a certain temperature? Is it just a feel thing, or is it just strictly time because you know the heat you're dealing with?
I like a medium rare. Yeah, I can usually tell just by temp or feel. But you want to get it caramelized. Make sure your grill's hot. If you don't get some good crunch on the outside, I don't know, probably 125, 30 degrees. I like them pretty rare.
I mean, you're still living, so, I mean, it could be a dumb question, but, I mean, you always hear about you got to take ground beef to 175 degrees or, whatever it is to make sure that you're killing out the nasty 155. I mean, do you worry about, medium rare is like 125 degrees or 130 degrees or something like that.
No, I'm pretty sure something else is going to get me before rare ground beef does. I doubt that's what'll end up killing me. So, I'm not scared of it. I'm careful when I serve it to people. A lot of that stuff, if you ever go take the food service class and you read through the lines, if you have children, if you have people that are immune compromised, if you have old people eating, they're much more susceptible to that stuff. And it does happen. But people do get sick. Healthy people get sick too. But I just figured the way I've lived my life, if I die from eating a raw hamburger, I'll be really surprised.
You're going to be doing the other two grill stocks. In the near term, what are you going to be doing here that we can catch up with yet?
I was in Sports Illustrated last week. I don't know if you saw that.
Swimsuit cover?
No, unfortunately, they wanted me for a swimsuit. I couldn't make it. I'm in this one here. They did an advertorial paid for by the Pork Board, and Sports Illustrated called me and interviewed me and did a whole grilling thing and featured my new book, Flavorize, which was really cool.
Awesome.
Sports Illustrated, we all been reading it since we're kids.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. So that was a very fun one. I did an episode of Chopped as a judge in the studio a long time ago, and it's finally going to air June 16th. And I was part of Food Fighters, too, the show with Adam Richman that we shot about a month ago. I don't know when that's going to air, but it'll be on NBC this summer. So I got lots going on.
Are you watching the new season of Barbecue Pitmasters, or could you care less?
I haven't had a chance. Leanne's a good friend of mine, so Sandy taped that one for me while I was in England, and I'll watch that one. But, for me, every time I watch it, I see these guys cooking the same damn thing, I feel sorry for Myron and Mo and Tuffy having to act like it's something different every time.
Paycheck's a paycheck, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, nobody wants to say it. All right. I'm sure it leads to bigger and better things. Ray Lampe can be found on this show once a month, the first Tuesday of every month, by the way. You can check him out at drbbq.com. Ray, I always appreciate the time. We'll see you again next month.
My pleasure, Greg. Good talking to you.
All right, there he is. Ray Lampe, Dr. Barbecue.
Go Blackhawks.
Go Blackhawks. Go Michigan. They won, I guess. You'll never hear me say go Michigan outside of the fact that I am huge go Michigan on the softball side of things. They were down 0-1 in the Women's Championship World Series, Women's College World Series. Lost to Florida last night. They should not have lost to Florida last night. I just got a text message from my wife upstairs saying that they just won the game, so that's great. You go to the pivotal third game tomorrow. Can't wait. Can't wait. You know what I can't wait for? More butter grilling oil from ButcherBBQ.com. You heard me. ButcherBBQ.com. Look, we all know that Butcher's is well known for their injections. The pork, the beef, the prime injection, the bird boosters, the open pit pork injection. Now they have the grilling oils, the steakhouse, the chipotle, and the butter. Sweeping Parquet right out the door, by the way. If you haven't tried the butter-flavored grilling oil in replacement of Parquet, you're doing yourself a disservice. You got to try it. You go to ButcherBBQ.com, you hook up with a bunch of that, with a bunch of the rub. I love the honey rub. Used it just this past week. I'm going to use it Saturday night when I have a huge, and I say huge, smoke-roasted buffalo chicken wing cook. So I got to move furniture out and get the carpet down. New carpet coming into the Central Studios. So head on over to ButcherBBQ.com and check out all their products. Don't worry about breaking the bank when it comes to shipping. Items totaling up to $55. Ship at $8.50. Between $55 and $200, ship at $9.75, and anything over $200 ships for free. Tell you each and every week, buy $201 worth of stuff. Save on the shipping. And trust me, there's plenty of stuff for you to get $200 worth of stuff. Don't think you're just going to have to be buying the same stuff over and over and over again. And you might want to buy the same stuff over and over again because it's so good. Do it. ButcherBBQ.com. That's ButcherBBQ.com. We're back to wrap up right after this. Stick around. The first hour of it. Okay.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, it is a real quick wrap at the top of the hour here. We're getting ready to load. Hold on a second here. We're getting ready to load for the second hour. I'm going to refresh my drink. Lots to get to here on the second side. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Networks.
Hi, this is Bobby Limpy from Cleveland, Ohio, and you're listening to Barbecue Central.
From my heart and from my hand, why don't people understand my intention?
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan. So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono, dude.
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 54 wieners.
But listen, Lavernius, shake a face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Who? Top men.
All right, just like that, we are into the second hour. You have found the Barbecue Central Show. We talk about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling here. If you want to jump in on the show tonight, 216-220-0966. Email Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Happy to have you, should you see fit to jump in. If you missed the first hour, shame on you. You missed Heath Hall from Pork Barrel Barbecue. We talked about bacon jerky, if you can believe it or not. We also talked with Hall of Famer of the Barbecue Hall of Fame style, Ray Lampe, Dr. Barbecue, this past CD. I bet I'm the only person who listens to this show has the music CD. Not the only person. Don In a related story, we might be the only two people that have it on CD. Aren't we the two lucky ones, Don? Absolutely. Still to come on this show tonight, the weekly barbecue roundup. Travis Clark from Clark Crew Barbecue and Donnie Bray, Warren County Pork Choppers. The 2015 Sam's Club Barbecue Series rolled into Hendersonville, Tennessee this past weekend. This was a local event that fed the South Haven, Mississippi. No. South Haven, is it Missouri? Yeah, Mississippi regional final. Those top 6 teams moving on in particular order. Winning it, fat, drunk, and stupid. 703.4. Wow. Q-Bones Barbecue gets reserved with a 697. Barry and Erica finish third with a 691.3. Hot Coals Barbecue finishes fourth with a 691, 3712. Barry and Erica got a 3828, so huge close. Blind Hog Barbecue won fifth place. They're moving on with a 690. And Eat More Butt Barbecue, 689.09. So your discrepancy of scoring or your difference between 1 and 6, very close, 4 points, give or take. It's been as many as, 20, 30 points for crying out loud. So this was a very hotly contested 703.4, a huge score. Don't forget the next Sam's Club event, as I said earlier in the first hour, this coming weekend, June 6th in Asheville, North Carolina, a local qualifier feeding the Richmond, Virginia regional. And good luck to all those competing. All right, let me go see if I can't find the weekly barbecue roundup, and we will hook you up in the right way with what happened in competition barbecue this past weekend.
Here we go with the latest edition of the Barbecue Roundup covering May 29th and May 30th, 2015, starting out with the Kansas City Barbecue Society. Barbecue for a Stop in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Did I say that right? I don't care. But winning that one, Tim's Full Belly Deli with a 672. Smoking on the Lake in Monroe City, Missouri. Winning that one, Pitmaster IQ Barbecue with a 700.5. Royal George Holy Smoke Barbecue Showdown in Cannon City, Colorado. Winning that, Clark Crew Barbecue with a 694.8. Next, Horsetown Brew and Q Festival in Norco, California. Porterhouse Barbecue winning that one with a 708.5. Wow. Smokin' in Steel in Owatonna, Minnesota. Dry to the Bone wins at 683.9. Hog Wild Barbecue Cook-Off and Family Festival in Brookhaven, Mississippi. I'm going to say Mississippi. Red Eyed Smokers wins at 693.7. How about Pig Mania in Lima? Yellow River Barbecue wins that one with a 705.7. Whoa! How about the Mondonk Up and Smoke Barbecue Fest in Swansea, New Hampshire? Stubborn Bull Barbecue wins that one at a 686.2. The 4th Annual Valley Veterans Barbecue Competition in Valley, Nebraska. Parrot Head Smokers winning that one with a 687.4. Carnivores Classic in Missoula, Montana. Winning that one, Lone Star Smoke Rangers with a 682.7. Smoke on the Prairie in Brimfield, Illinois. Winning that one, Monster Q, 678.7. How about the Kelly Wilson Memorial Barbecue Competition in Kansas City, Missouri? Winning it, 913 Barbecue with a 706.2. Pig and a Jig Barbecue Festival, Snow Hill, Maryland. Winning it, Serial Griller with a 686.7. The Sam's Club National Barbecue Tour in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Fat, Drunk, and Stupid winning that one with a 703.4. The Rotary Club, Bearden, Q-Fest, Knoxville, Tennessee. Warren County Pork Choppers winning that one with a 712.5. Oh, my. Piggin' in the Park, Woodruff, South Carolina. Winning it, Potts Barbecue, 689.2 flat. Beltway Barbecue Showdown, Fort Washington, Maryland. Pork Barrel Barbecue winning it with a 674.7. Rockin' Western Rendezvous in Loveland, Colorado, winning at Smokeaholics 696.53. Looking at the FBA, nothing in the FBA. Going over to the great state of Texas, a few things here that we can cover. IBCA, not sure of exactly how many teams in San Antonio, but the Texas Barbecue King Tour took place, and Burnt Bean Barbecue took grand champion in that one. The IBCA for Decatur Barbecue Challenge, J3 Barbecue won that one. The IBCA Arkansas 17th Annual State Championship, Just Add Sauce won it. The LSBS, the Lone Star Barbecue Society, winning that one. The Round Rock, Texas Boyers Barbecue Cook-Off, Patrick Mullins, which is PM Cookers. Hey, that's your weekly competition roundup. Now back and more of me. Take it away, me.
Hey, more of me. All right, so that's the second week in a row. Patrick Paquette, by the way, did get reserve grand champion in his event this past weekend. So just so you're aware, I want anybody to say that I'm leaving people out, or I'm not saying anybody is, but as Patrick easily pointed out. So this is what happens on Saturday night, or Sunday night as it was for this particular production. I go to the KCBS website, I copy and paste results for the weekend, and then I post it into a text page, and then I just read it off. So it's the name, it's the score, and it's the winner listed. And that's all they list in KCBS is the winner. And then I follow suit with the Florida Barbecue Association, which I guess was off this past weekend, and the Texas stuff, because my embedded reporter Doug Scheiding from Road Cooker is my Texas embedded guy that gets me all the information there. So that's what's happening there. That's why I only read the winners, because that's what's easily fashioned for me. And as we all know, as little work for me as possible. That's me. I like it. If it's free, it's me, right? Absolutely. Nevertheless, congratulations again to Patrick Paquette and the Basic Patrick Barbecue team, longtime loyal listener of this show, and in-studio guest last year for his first RGC. Congratulations. Okay, let's see. Current KCBS Team of the Year standings. This was updated yesterday for me. Iowa Smokey D still sitting atop the KCBS Team of the Year standings. Then you have Clark Crew Barbecue Team. Then you have the American Dream Barbecue Team. Then Getting Basted, and then rounding out the top five, Serial Griller. The FBA Team of the Year standings, which according to the FBA website, updated April 11th. Is this accurate? Hot Wachula's sitting atop, Sweet Smoke Q in second, Blitzkrieg Barbecue third, Swamp Boys fourth, Cedar Creek Barbecue fifth. And if this is completely incorrect, don't blame me. That's what the website says, for crying out loud. So get off my back, Jack. Coming up out of the break, Travis Clark, Clark Crew Barbecue. As a matter of fact, where is that one at? Oh, gosh. I'll find it. Oh, I'll find it. Don't you worry about it. There it is. Booyah. The longest running sponsor of this show is Krieg Barbecue. Sorry. Angela Iverson is updating the Florida Barbecue Association on the Barbecue Central show. Thank you, Angela. The longest-running sponsor of the show is the Barbecue Guru. Gang, if you have been thinking about automatic pit temperature control devices for your cookers, stop here. This is the one that you're going to want to get. They created the technology. Why are you going to buy it from anybody else? I don't know. If you're not familiar with how these little beauties work, let me give you a brief introduction. Imagine a product that allows you to set your pit temperature, and one set keeps it running at that set temperature all the way through the cook. Sound too good to be true? It's not. It's real life. You can take advantage of this technology today. Now, Maybe you are a busy working professional. Perhaps you're constantly on the run with kids and you're doing errands, and quite frankly, you just don't have the time to sit around and tend pit temperatures. I get it. Barbecue Guru allows you to throw on a pork butt or a brisket or a couple slabs of ribs. You're off to do whatever it is you need to get done, and the Barbecue Guru maintains that pit temperature you set it at. Number of different models to choose from. How about the CyberQ Wi-Fi? You have a smart device? Some kind of smart device? You can take full advantage of that with CyberQ Wi-Fi. You can run 2 different pits. You can take internal temperatures of up to 4 different meats. You can make pit adjustments right from your phone or tablet, netbook, laptop. As long as it's connected, you're ready to go. You have the Party Q as well. $149 for most cookers. Got a facelift last year. Easiest point of entry in the pit temperature control device arena. Self-contained package, runs on AA batteries. Go from cooker to cooker to cooker. It's fabulous. Look at the Onyx oven as well if you're looking for a cooker. But first, do yourself a favor. Head on over to the Guru, thebbqguru.com. Check out their products. Call them 800-288-GURU. They'll make sure you're outfitted with exactly what you need to get you up and running right out of the box. 800-288-GURU, or visit thebbqguru.com. The Barbecue Guru continues to be a breakthrough in barbecue technology. It's Travis Clark out of the break. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the Barbecue Central Show is brought to you by CookinPellets.com. That's right, your number one source for quality wood pellets for all your pellet-driven cookers. Visit CookinPellets.com for more information or to purchase. Not going to void any warranties. Don't buy that BS from your pellet grill manufacturer. You can visit Amazon.com to purchase Cookin' Pellets as well. Again, those 2 websites, CookinPellets.com, COOKIN, CookinPellets.com. Or, if you feel more comfortable working with the big names in the industry, Amazon.com, and then search Cookin' Pellets. Thanks to Chris Becker and the good folks over at Cookin' Pellets for their continued sponsorship of this show. My next guest, the pitmaster of the currently second KCBS Team of the Year in that race. Just won the Royal George Holy Smoke Barbecue Showdown in Kansas City, Colorado this past weekend. Let's go ahead and race over to the hotline and welcome back in friend of the show, Travis Clark.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, Trav? How are you, buddy?
Man, I'm doing really good.
Yeah, I bet you are. You've been stringing them together here over the last number of weeks, having a really good run at it. So I figured we'd chase you down here and obviously take a look back at this past weekend, but also, kind of see what's good and working for the Clark Crew barbecue team over the last weeks here. So as you look back at Kansas City, Colorado, I guess, first question that I always have when you get into altitude, Travis, is, is that something that you are really sitting on the top of your head with as you game plan for your cook, is elevation and how that can or can't affect your cook going forward that weekend?
Yeah, we did it one other time. Last year we did that Colorado Rockies Invitational.
Yeah.
And we were pretty much exactly the same elevation this weekend. And the thing I noticed about that, it took me a lot longer to get my pit up to temp, with the lack of oxygen. But really, once it got up to temp, everything cooked about the same. It took about the same time. Your finish temps are a little lower. But, it went pretty good.
So to get it up to temperature, is it just something where you have to allot for more time for the buildup, or are you using anything to help it along its merry little way?
What I did, I kind of pre-lit, a stack of charcoal in my pit, about 11 o'clock at night. And when I came out, I lit my pit at 3:30, went and lit my charcoal basket at 3:30. It was already sitting at about 125 degrees. So it didn't take it, a real long time to get up to temp, but it did take longer.
Travis Clark joining me here on the show. This particular contest saw 32 teams try their hand at winning Grand Championship. And you look at the top 5, I mean, you know, some of the best teams out there currently right now, yourself winning, Joe Bob's coming in reserve, Kelly Wirtz and Four Legs Up Barbecue has been doing it almost longer than anybody anymore. Takes third place, Smokeaholics, and you have Dave Qualls, an American Dream Barbecue team, taking 5th place, and you know, not even 20 points separating you guys. I mean, that's a pretty stiff competition for sure, right?
Oh yeah, it seems like every weekend that's how it's been lately, especially when you're butting heads with Qualls. That gets old.
Now, I mean, when you show up anymore because of the success you've been having, I mean, not only this year, but obviously last year as well, I mean, is it almost double pressure to a degree? You want to go in, you want to win, you want to stick to your program and all that stuff as a team, but do you feel any additional pressure from the teams trying to, maybe they don't even have a shot at winning as good as you, or maybe they're just new and all they want to do is kind of cut their teeth and say, hey, I finished ahead of Clark Crew in a category, or I finished ahead of them in the overall standings, and like that's their win for the year?
Yeah, I don't know. You hear guys say that, you know, and I try to tell them exactly opposite. I was like, you know, just cook your cook. I mean, none of us control it. I mean, we do what we do and turn it into the judges, and it's up to them, you know. So, I mean, you know, I had guys this weekend asking me about, you know, Dodge and Cook, you know, oh, I don't want to turn in with Qualls. I don't want to turn in with him. I was like, dude, take your box up and turn it in. I mean, you know, there's nothing you control. You don't want to stand there and let your food get cold. You know, just turn it in, you know. I don't know. It's not a big enough contest where you really have choices. You know, in between trays there, you might be standing there for 2-3 minutes.
Well,
I mean, me, I got stuff to do.
If you could pick anything, you would want to pick whatever these tables of deaths are. That would be the one you want to pick, not to be on. I mean, wouldn't you rather turn in with David and not be on a table of death?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. If you stand there and miss the tray that you could have got on with them guys, and then you sit down on one and it's the table of death. Now, if there's 2 trays sitting there side by side and both of them got 5 boxes on them, and you know, if I have my choice and I'm turning in brisket, especially, no, I don't want to be with Qualls. I'll take the other tray all day long. But if I walk up there and there's 1 tray sitting there, I'm going on with them. I'm not dodging that. You know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you have 2 choices, you may take your chance on a small contest not going against him on it.
Travis Clark from the Clark Crew Barbecue team joining me here on the show. They won the Royal George Holy Smoke Barbecue Showdown in Kansas City, Colorado this past weekend with a 694.8, almost, well, let's round it up, 695. So you're sitting second in the KCBS Team of the Year right now behind Darren Worth, Iowa Smoky D's, who was obviously a very consistent cook. He's a very successful cook in some of the big competitions. You know, where we're sitting here now almost, well, I mean, we're right at halfway for the calendar year here. What do you like about Clark Crew Barbecue right now, and what do you think might need any type of tweaking here as you start into the second half of the season?
You know, I'm pretty happy. All 4 meats right now, which is a first. I mean, all last year I struggled with brisket. I mean, you go back and look, we were top 10 in everything, and we were 120th or something in brisket. I mean, that was really killing us, you know. And we switched over this year with, you know, the Kansas City barbecue store. You know, they were hooking us up with Snake River Farms briskets, so I've been cooking them all year. And I think I've just got so much more consistent, you know, cooking the same brisket. Last year I cooked anything from Choice, Prime, Snake River Farms. I cooked so many different kinds of brisket. I think cooking the same thing consistently has helped us a lot.
Were you cooking different ones because it was just what you could get your hands on, or were you trying to continually change and find a mark that would hit one week so you could then continue to buy it? What was the deal going on there?
We had always been a Choice team, cooking Choice brisket. I mean, we won brisket at the Royal cooking the Choice brisket. I mean, it was just, it went good for us. And then, I don't know, it just kind of seemed like I came out and what I was doing with the Choice wasn't working last year. And so we cooked a couple primes, and then we cooked a couple Wagyus, and I didn't really cook them good. I didn't really know how to cook them. And once you kind of figure it out, they're a very forgiving piece of meat. It's a lot harder to overcook one of them than it is a Choice. And, I think just, I bit the bullet, I'm thinking I don't want to spend that kind of money for a brisket. And then once you start cooking them, you kind of start thinking, that's why everybody's doing it. They're a lot better brisket for sure.
Did you hire somebody in to give you classes on how to cook it, or is it just practice and trying to figure out how they came up? Or what?
It's kind of helped me a couple different ways. Rod Gray helped me a bunch on it. David Qualls, me and him talk all the time. I helped him with a couple things. He helped me in a couple things, and talking with guys like that in it, helped tremendously.
Travis Clark joining me here on the show. Travis, when you look at where you are now, you've settled on the Snake River Farms. Are you, good to go with the other proteins as well, or do you do some changing out depending on where you're going to be cooking?
The one thing I've swapped around brands is ribs. I struggle to find ribs down here. I was always buying my pork butts at Sam's. I like the IVP Green Label pork butts. They got rid of them and switched over to Seaboards. And then I finally found another Sam's Club that has them. Actually Qualls told me about that. He said they got them down there, so I'm driving 30 miles to a Sam's Club to buy my pork butts now. But I'm kind of back to happier having them. And then ribs. I'm not real picky on what brand, as long as I can find good ones. That seems to be the big challenge every week.
So you make the jump to Snake River Farms, or Kansas City Barbecue Store is maybe sponsoring them for you, so you're able to get them consistently. But there has been, however big or small or medium, movement afoot on the pork stuff as well. Have you started looking into the Duroc type stuff for pork butt and for ribs?
I cooked a lot of them.
Yep.
And I just wasn't happy with the smaller cut of meat, I guess. The way I cook, pretty hot and fast. I like, I like the bigger pork butt, and a bigger selection of a money muscle. I like the bigger, thicker ribs, and Comparts aren't necessarily known for that. But then on the other trade-off, I also think Compart has the best flavor, out there. I mean, it's a very great tasting pork, a lot of fat, a lot of marbling. It just, I don't know. And we did okay with them last year. Most of the year last year, we cooked a lot of Compart, and we finished well with it. It's just, I've been ordering them in, and I wasn't getting them consistent. I guess I'd get them in and wasn't happy with them. And when you pay that kind of money, you need to cook it. And now we're trying to cook a rib, that you can go to Sam's Club and I can sort through some and buy a pack of ribs that I feel are good.
Travis, when you talk about hot and fast, or that you cook hot and fast, it's a term that's been around for ages now. It was sacrilege 10 years ago. I mean, nobody ever cooked hot and fast except Myron Mixon, and it seems to be a trend that a lot of people are using now. Would you say, you get around and do a number of competitions all over the country, would you say that the majority of folks that you see are cooking, 350 degrees plus, or do you still see the majority, down into that traditional barbecue temperature of 225 to 275?
I think the majority are 275 and up. I don't necessarily know about the 350. Now definitely a lot of cans out there. A lot of them Gateway drums getting out there, and all those guys are cooking hot. There is some guys that cook a little slow, but the majority of them guys are cooking really hot. I'm a 275 up and up guy. My brisket goes on 400 to 450 degrees. For a while, and then I back it back down before the rest of my meat goes on. But, I used to be 275 everything. And you put my ribs at that. I cook all my small meats at 275. I've tried cooking them hotter, and it just didn't work for me.
So with the brisket, when you cook it hotter, when you were doing it at 275, you were obviously getting a product that you were happy with. You go to the 400, 450, whatever you said, and it's much hotter. So the end product, how did it differ at all? Did it differ at all?
To me, it seems like retains the moisture better for some reason. I don't know if it's searing it and keep it in there, but I know I have a lot moister brisket when I do it. And hell, if Darren Worth does it, it's got to be right, so.
Yeah, exactly. Flavor profile wise, what do you see that's working for you, and what are you liking right now?
Well, my flavor profile I don't use a lot of the rubs on the top 100 list. But
holy shit!
Is that too soon for that? Is that too soon?
No, it's never too soon. You know me.
No, I'm a pretty basic guy. I use some West Coast rubs, Cosmos, rods. I use all my sponsored. I don't use one thing that I'm not sponsored with. Well, take it back. I do use some slabs, but I mean, I'm a pretty basic. I used to really try to venture out. When I first got into it, God, I bought like everything you could buy. I mean, tons and tons, and was trying everything. And then, as it went on, you kind of figured out that it was more about cooking it right than it was the flavor profile. I mean, I literally did 2 complete different porks back-to-back weekends, and one pork one weekend and 180 pork the next weekend. One was with my brisket rub and one was with my pork rub. Just completely different rubs, and hell, I think, that just really made me decide that, you got to cook it right.
What kind of or let me ask you this question. When you are keeping track of the scores and you start to see maybe a category start to fall off, and at what point do you determine that, okay, X amount of time has passed, and I guess do you set up time frames, so if things start to drop off over a certain period of time, once it gets to this point, this is a time frame that we need to start making changes. And then once you've determined that a change or a tweak needs to be made, how much of a tweak do you make, and then pan it out to the next set of judges to see if it works or not?
Well, my pork was really running that line. We started out, last year we were strong in it. I started out with the same exact recipe this year. It was going really well. We were doing really, really good in a couple first place calls, a couple really high calls. Then I went 4 or 5 weeks in a row with bad. I mean, like taking 30th, and you're sitting there thinking, man, what is happening here? It just wasn't going good, and I sit there and I did make a couple tweaks on my sauce. I started mixing in some fine swine with my sauce, and that helped a little bit, so then you sit there. Well, then I just dropped one rub. I got thinking, well, maybe I'm putting too much rub off. So I just dropped one of my rubs completely. I had 3 rubs on it. I went down to 2 rubs. And, it seemed like, well, okay, we're getting more of a smoke flavor now. We're getting that. And, and I didn't really change anything after that. And then it started hitting again, So, I don't really know. I probably should have been practicing at home and trying to improve that. But when you're cooking every weekend, you just really don't have time to do it. And I've been toying around with, like this weekend I did, 2 butts. I did 3 butts total. I did 2 the way I've been doing it, and did one butt another way just to try something, and wasn't happy with one either day, with the ones that I was trying. I tried one at Canyon City and at Loveland. I tried a different butt. So 3 different flavor profiles, and the ones that I was tweaking, I wasn't happy with.
Travis Clark joining me here on the show, pitmaster of the Clark Crew barbecue team. Travis, where are you going to be competing at next?
This weekend we go up to Mayetta, Kansas. It's up north of Topeka. It's a nice contest up there. It's at a casino. Then the next weekend after that, we've got that Taste of Dallas down there in Dallas. It's like 18 teams, invitational deal. So
you looking forward to that? You like invitationals?
Yeah, they're fun. I mean, I hate the fact that you don't get points for anything. I don't like that, but I mean, they're fun. They're good money, and this one's a little different. It's a kind of a 3-day deal. We have to cook some people's choice things. We got to do like ribs and chicken one day. Then the next day we do a full KCBS cook, and turn it in just like you normally would. But we also have to do people's choice pork and brisket, which turn in 30 minutes after your contest meets. So that's going to really pose a challenge, cooking on my Jambo. There ain't a hell of a lot of extra room to cook that much extra meat. So we're going to have to get creative for sure.
The second half of the year, I remember having a conversation with Rod Gray a couple years ago and saying, hey, here's who's leading team of the year right now. And he said, yeah, that's all well and good, but this portion of the season going forward is where you're going to be able to separate the girls and the boys. So Are you making a concerted run here for Team of the Year this year, or are you going to stay with it? And if it happens,
I'm going to cook a lot. Yeah. I don't know if that's going to give me a shot at it. We've probably still got, 15 to 20 contests we're planning on doing. A few of those are invitationals, so I'm probably about halfway through the contest that points matter, so, obviously you got to, I was looking now, I have to finish 6th or better. I got a 6th and a 5th to drop off, and then after that, you got to start winning. That kind of takes the fun out of it and really kind of sucks. But, it just, if it's there to do it, obviously you'll try to make a push. Last year, we were cooking really good, and I just ran out of vacation time, and I couldn't do anything. This year, I'm trying to leave myself in position that if it is reachable, to try. But it's going to be pretty hard to catch guys like Darren. It's going to be pretty hard to catch them.
Travis Clark is the pitmaster of the Clark Crew Barbecue team, and they just won the Royal George Holy Smokes barbecue contest, barbecue showdown in Cannon City, Colorado this past weekend. Travis, always appreciate the time, man. Thanks for coming out.
All right, thank you.
You got it. There he is. Travis Clark. He wins a lot. 2nd overall, KCBS Team of the Year right now, and is doing very well. Hitting on the proverbial all cylinders, and the profiles are there. So look for him. He'll be in Topeka this coming weekend, and then Dallas after that for an invitational. So if you were not invited to that invitational, you won't be competing against him. You will perhaps see the results on the weekly barbecue roundup, if that's even posted. Maybe not. As he said, it's kind of double-edged sword. Great to be invited to places, but when you don't get any points for them, maybe you want to go to places that have points. I can understand that. You know what else I can understand? A public service message to all the barbecue brothers and sisters from one of your show sponsors, Stephen DeFranco of Stephen DeFranco Jewelers, who is also a self-admitted barbecue junkie. That's right. Father's Day is coming up this month in June. What to get dear old dad? New clothes that he won't wear? No. New shoes that'll cover with barbecue sauce? I don't think so. How about a new tie? How about no? Stephen DeFranco Jewelers has the perfect answer from Steve himself, a new watch. Steve has an incredible selection of watches that would be perfect for dear old dad, and he'll wear them as well. Bulova watches. Why spend a ton of money on a watch if you don't have to? Bulova watches, stylish, affordable, starting under $200. Some of these watches are in traditional quartz styles, retro-styled automatic versions. You have chronographs, you have skeletons. Traditional styles fill out the Bulova line of timepieces. Then you have the Bulova Precisionist. I have one. It's the most accurate watch in the world. I have one. Exclusive movements of the Bulova Precisionist break down the second-hand movement at 60 seconds per second, giving that second hand a smooth moving appearance. Steel and titanium versions are available as well. Then you have the Accutron. I got one of those. High-end without the high price. Cadillac of the Bulova line. The Accutron is the pinnacle of high-end design without breaking the bank. Starting below $600, the Accutron watch gives you the high-end style, quality, and lifestyle without breaking the bank. Citizens, are you gadget junkie? Of course you are. You're a barbecue guy. Citizen's perfect for the gadget junkie. EcoDrive technology converts light into energy, powering your watch perfectly and accurately. Need a timer for your barbecue cooking? Some Citizens have multiple timers along with alarms. Wow! Multiple time zones. Philip & Company, that's right, the high-end European watch companies use Swiss movements from a company called the ETA. Philip hand-assembles his watches personally using ETA movements and hand-picked components starting at $8.95. Phillips watches not only have an elegant European style, but they're affordable. All of Phillips watches serial numbered and registered with Philip himself. All watches, of course, from Stephen DeFranco Jewelers come with the exclusive watch performance package, including a 1-year extension, the manufacturer's warranty, free engraving, free watch batteries for the life of the watch, and free polishing cloth. All of this at no charge. What do you have to do? Go to StephenDeFranco.com, pick out the new watch, call Steve, 440-943-2700. Tell him you're a barbecue brother or sister, and he'll give you the real discounted price of the watch. Not allowed by the manufacturer to show the real discounted price on his website. And as always, Steve will ship the watch to you for free. What? 440-943-2700. He will help you take it from there. I will have Donnie Bray coming back right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, welcome back. 216-20966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Your two ways to get in touch with me. Thanks again to Travis Clark for joining me this past segment. Joining me now, current KCBS Team of the Year, winner of the Rotary Club of Beard and Q-Fest this past weekend in Knoxville, Tennessee, and friend of this show, Donnie Brady from Warren County Pork Chop, joining me here on the show. Donnie, how are you, buddy? Appreciate you making time tonight, Donnie, as always. And, I guess all I can say is, holy shit, 712.
I'm with you.
That's a huge number, man.
Holy shit. Only thing I can say is, we had a 710 the week before.
Yeah.
Our judges are pretty hungry down here right now, so I know it's high. It's a high score, but at least I had the highest. It's still a win. But, last year our Team of the Year, we didn't have a lot of help with our chicken. And so I think that what we've seen the last 2 weeks is a chicken program sort of coming together. And 4, really good calls is what it takes to be in the 700. So whether it's a fluke or not, I'll just keep trying and hope not.
I think 1 week you could possibly make an argument for a fluke, but 2 weeks plus 700, definitely not a fluke. But then when you look at the overall scores, fourth place was 700, almost 700 even. Third place was 702.2. Second place was 710.8. And then you had a 712. 1 through 4, any other contest, 2 through 4, any other contest in the country, they're winning. I'm telling you what, you go back through and you look at the results of this past week. You had your 712, you got the other 700s here. There were a bunch of 700 plus, 708s, 705s. This was I don't know if it's a record-breaking weekend, but there were a lot of plus 700s this past weekend all across the board.
I know the ones that I've been to, we just seen some really good cooks that's getting 4 calls. And, we're talking 4 calls that's way down in the single digits, and that's going to produce some good numbers. I was sitting there with the good calls that I had this weekend and just extremely afraid that Rob, may have had me. And when I got the second place call in brisket, I was still highly concerned with that being enough. And the same thing the week before, I had 3 third place calls. Or 4 third place calls, and the other 2 teams, Smoke Me Silly, which is one of the teams that's just really doing good, and also Barry Johnson, and they had 180. So I just didn't know. It just everybody just cooking really good right now, and only thing I can say is I'm lucky, and I just got a chicken thing that's really come around the last couple of weeks.
So what didn't you like about the chicken, or what can you decipher that maybe wasn't as hitful with the chicken, and what changes did you make in order to get yourself in a better position?
Wow, that's with all the things that went on the last couple of days, this is going to open up a new can of worms. But my chicken's just been sort of bland, and all the years that I've been cooking. I've been getting it really, I think, working moisture and not having a really good pop. And, the West Coast offense flavor profiles, Sterling's been working really hard with me and trying to bring them into my program. And we took some of these that really jump out flavors. He showed me how to use them, and we really had it going on pretty good 3 weeks ago in Sevierville. We had 3 really good calls and sort of messed up on the sauce mixture. I wrote it down wrong, and Tracy didn't. She done what I wrote, but it wasn't right. So we knew we was coming around. and then we put that into play week before last and last week. So we just got some flavor profiles that just went crazy, and it's really hard for a judge to turn it down. All they want's good food, and but you got to make it pop, and it can't be too stout. They can't really identify things, or they'll pick on you. But that's really where we're at.
I was going to say, when you're talking about things popping, is it something where it's more sweet, or it's more savory, or it's just something that they're like, it's just really good, and I can't, as you said, they can't identify it, because then you might be putting yourself in a position to go one way or the other.
Well, really, the whole secret to the barbecue life is the flavor profile being sweet, heat, salt, and smoke, and a balance of. So, it's pretty easy to get something that's sweet, but, you got to get those flavor profiles that will hang on and complement one another. And if not, you can get some bland spots. And although it's not rocket science, it really is to be able to put these flavors together and let them work together and actually complement one another. And that's what I've seen the last 2 weeks, and that's what, other than luck and Lady Karma sort of turning me loose a little bit, that's what I've seen happen the last couple of weeks.
Donnie Bray joining me here on the show, pitmaster of Warren County Pork Choppers, talking about the win this past weekend over in Knoxville, Tennessee. Do you like, you're a Kentucky guy, headquarter-wise. Do you like getting out into Tennessee and, some of the surrounding areas? Or if you had your druthers, would you just rather stay in Kentucky and do the winning there?
I really don't do well in Kentucky. My favorite two states is Tennessee and Florida. Kentucky, I'm going, last year, making a run for Team of the Year. I dodged Kentucky quite a bit. This weekend, I'm going back. I'll be in Bardstown, Kentucky, and some of the ones that I dodged last year, I'm going to take these new West Coast offense flavor profiles and just go full force straight into them and not dodge them. I've been blessed. I got the Team of the Year. I tied for it in 2013, but that don't mean I'm giving up this year. I'd still like to be one of the guys. I want to be in that top group, and it's a hard place to be. It's anybody that hadn't done it doesn't realize that what it takes, and just what Travis is doing right now. He just drove all those miles to go from all the way from his house to Georgia and win. It is such an effort that I don't think, unless you actually live it, that you can understand the effort it takes to put into what he's doing, what I've done, what the teams in the past, the last 40 of us.
Donnie Bray, Warren County Pork Choppers, joining me here on the show. Donnie, I think we talked earlier in the year, kind of, recounting the win and the overall Team of the Year victory last year and how you're carrying it into this year. Will you be putting yourself in a position to try and repeat again on purpose, or if you find yourself in a position to repeat, you'll continue down that path, but it's not on the forefront?
No, because of karma, I won't sit and say that I'm going for it or I'll jump out like that. I'm going to repeat what you said in your last segment there, what Rod Gray said. August is going to separate the men from the boys, and I'm doing everything that I can with my new flavor profiles to put myself in a position by August to see if I can separate the men from the boys. But I got a ways to go right now. But if I can get myself into that, I'm willing to put in what it takes. I think I got 24 more cooks in the works for the rest of this year. I had some things that weddings, my youngest daughter getting married, some of the things that I've done, some really fun things that I did for charities with the Big Papa Smokers and all of the country music stars, and we was into just so many things. It's been fun, and now it's time to really buckle down and see if we can actually get ourselves in a position to get out there and cook with those guys. I know Darren will be there, and I know Travis will be there, and Qualls will be there, and I'd like to be there with them.
We talk a lot about meat and purveyors of meat, and I know you have a meat sponsor for the team. What do you like about your particular, meat purveyor? What are they giving you that you think gives you an advantage when you go into a contest each and every weekend?
Do you want individual categories? We got enough time for that?
Sure, absolutely.
First of all, I start out with chicken that Springer Mountain Farms. I can get chicken that is actually symmetrical. I'm not having to take 100 pieces and put it together to make 12, and that's a really good thing. A secret to me is in my pork and the butts and ribs, I use Hormel. That's a cheap brand that we can get about anywhere that I think is the best on the market. I really like using some enhanced meat that is they say it's got 12%. It's enhanced with 12% of a patented thing that makes your babies be born naked. I don't know what they do, but I really like it.
Wait. Hold on a second. You like injected meat?
I do.
Horseshit. I'm calling horseshit on Team of the Year right now. I mean, I'm just saying. Nobody else is going to say it, but I'm calling horseshit. That's fine. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
I like a piece of meat that I don't have to work too hard to make it tender.
Yeah.
And then of course, Snake River Farms, and I bounce between the black and the gold, but I think no matter what you cook it every week, buy the same thing, and make your timelines work out, and you're fine.
Do you turn in like all parts of the pork butt, or you just? I know a lot of teams will cook the butt for the money muscle, and that's all they're turning in because that's what they feel the judges want, and it's a consistent cut versus having to kind of plug through and do a bunch of other stuff on the butt. What do you like to do?
I hadn't been able to make that work myself. I like the money muscle, and then what the center there we call the roast. I work really hard to cook that to where it's not dry. That's when you look at a pork butt sandwich. That's a type meat that you see. If I can get that, that's what I'm wanting to put in there is a money muscle and that chunks. The horn, the simple stuff is what I go for. But if I can't get the money muscle thing to work for me, if I put 2 in there, it seems like it drops my score in half.
As far as I'm going to change gears here very quickly, but I want to make sure that I mention this. As far as classes go, I know I had a couple friends internally that took the class a little bit ago and just raved about the barn and the presentation and the audio visual and the fact that you were so open and free with all of your ways that you do the competition stuff as far as the cooking class is concerned. Are you doing more? And what did you think of it as the guy giving the class and, the team leader? How did you find that experience?
I love giving classes. I love talking in front of people. I'm a very open person. I am doing one more this year because I owe people. They sold some Operation Barbecue Relief. They sold some for a benefit. So October 9th, I'm going to do one just sort of clean up and pay my debts and that kind of thing. But no, I pour my heart out to people. I want to be the best cook that I can be, and also as a teacher, I want to be the best that I can be. So for me to plead with them and try to be, I want to be their coach. I want to be, hey, you can do this. It's just meat, but you can sit here and tell everybody your flavor profiles, but if you can't do it, if you can't cook, it's not going to work. I give the NASCAR thing. If you take Jimmy Johnson, that's won everything there is to win and got the most highest paid people that's out there, and I like Kyle Petty. I rode across the United States with him on Harley. But you put Kyle Petty in the driver's seat, they're not going to win. You still got to drive. You still got to cook. And nothing matters but that. Travis said it earlier. You've got to cook it perfectly, and the flavor profile, it just needs to enhance a perfectly cooked piece of meat.
Donnie Bray joining me here on the show. Donnie, where are you guys going to be cooking at here over the next couple of weeks?
I'll be in Bardstown, Kentucky this weekend. The next week I'll be, all these are really close, which is cool, but I'll be in Jeffersonville, Indiana, and then I'll be back in Bowling Green, Kentucky for the Sam's Club. That's the next 3 weeks. And then we're taking a week off for a little family cruise, and then we're going to strap ourselves to the plow and try to get to that August thing. And, we got a lot of ground to try to make up by August and set ourselves to where Rod Gray says, where we can be up there and maybe play with the big guy.
Donnie Bray won the Rotary Club of Beard and Q Fest this past weekend, him and the Warren County Pork Choppers team. That was in Knoxville, Tennessee. Donnie, always appreciate the time, man. Thanks for coming on. We'll do it again soon.
It's an honor to be here. Thanks for having me.
Honor's mine. Absolutely. That's the team of the year right there. Pitmaster, KCBS. Donnie Bray, Warren County Pork Choppers. And look, I might say it a lot, but I mean it a lot about these guys. Class act. To the point, not holding any punches, except for the Hormel injection. Come on. I know a rat. Come on. 12% injection, babies born naked. If you didn't know already, Big Papa Smokers is the one-stop online shop for anyone interested in barbecue. That's right. Number one dealer of Mack pellet grills in the world. Big Papa Smokers features a wide selection of American-made grills and smokers such as the Old Hickory Ace BP, Gateway drum smokers, even a drum kit that gives you everything you need to make a world-class smoker out of a 55-gallon drum. Big Papa Smokers has also made a name for itself in recent years by crafting an award-winning line of championship rubs, from flavors like Sweet Money to Happy Ending. Their rubs have had a hand in winning almost every major barbecue competition, including the 2012 and 13 American Royal, the 2012 and 14 Jack Daniels, the 13 Kingsford Challenge, and the 14 Houston Livestock and Rodeo. 14 King the Smoker as well. Don't think that BPS can be pigeonholed just into competitive barbecue either. BPS rubs have become so well known they've been picked up by a nationwide restaurant chain, BJ's Restaurant and Brew House. With 4 of the 9 BPS rubs featured on their permanent menu and amid glowing reviews, BPS rubs are now proven to be a great addition to anyone's pantry. Big Papa is also banded together with fellow California-based rub company Simply Marvelous Barbecue to form what has now become known as the West Coast Offense. Defying conventional wisdom, these 2 California-based rub makers have cornered the market and competitive barbecue and begun to redefine the flavor profiles that competitive cooks from across the country have begun to aim for. BPS website features an online meat locker with top-quality meats from Snake River Farms, shipped right to your door. From American Kobe beef, Caribou pork, and Double R Ranch meats, Big Papa's Meat Locker has something for every type of barbecue aficionado. Committed to bringing you the best barbecue flavors on the market, you can now get Swamp Boy sauce, a fine swine sauce, Granny's barbecue sauce. These are the new kids on the block this barbecue season. Big Papa also created a unique brand ambassador program, the BPS Elite Team, featuring 15 of the best competition teams in the country, working together to promote camaraderie, competition barbecue, and to benefit children's charities across the U.S. Keep in mind, the Big Papa Smokers has been able to do all this only in 5 years of being in business, turning the competition barbecue world on its head, providing customers with the very best barbecue products, becoming a staple of a nationwide restaurant chain, and benefiting children's charities across the U.S. Just the beginning for Big Papa Smokers. We're back to wrap up this show right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Your 2 bits of contact info if you want to jump in tonight. Thanks again to Donnie Bray for joining me this past segment. Look at the shout out to Durag. Durag! When are you coming up to Cleveland, bro? The couch is cold without your rumpus kicking it. You could have done like a tag team interview with your boy there last segment. That would have been money. Hope you're well, man. Hope you're well. A lot of people. Oh, yeah. All right. Could be sooner than later. Could be sooner than later. You know, I got a lot of emails. I mean, I don't know if you know it or not, but the Facebooks was blowing up today between one party doing a lot of the flaming, another party staying relatively tight. And, you know, the bottom line is I am not going to weigh in on anything. It's not my place. And I think if you know, here's what I suggest. Do yourself a favor. Take both names of the people and Google them. And then see what you find. Draw your own conclusions from there. That's all I'm saying. Rule number 1 of the show. No names, please. Next show, we're going to do rules of the show. All right, we got to get going here before I'm too late. I apologize. All the way back in the first hour, we talked with Heath Hall, Pork Barrel Barbecue. Then we talked with... what is that? Whatever. We talked with Ray Lampe, Dr. Barbecue. Second hour, Travis Clark, Clark Crew Barbecue. And then Donnie Bray, Warren County Pork Choppers. September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Till next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.